It can be emotional when buying a property and you're right there at the finish line. There's a bit of language used called the 66W that the real estate agent will throw around. We're going to get intimate with how to use the 66W to make your money and get you that property. Stay tuned. Good. Hi, Mr. Silic. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you going?
Good, thanks. Hey, I was talking with my wife this morning
Yes.
about how experienced you are in the process of buying property, and I don't mean to piss in your pocket, but ladies and gentlemen, this guy is responsible for closing out of 550 real estate agents on the Northern Beaches. This guy is closing the most amount of purchases. He's dealing with the most amount of buyers out there. So your technical prowess and expertise is highly appreciated, and we want to talk about the 66W certificate in New South Wales and what a weapon, how that weapon can be used, because it's like a gun. You can't put it in anybody's hand. It's got to be used correctly.
Correct. And thank you for the kudos there, Mark. But yes, the 66W, the jargon that the real estate agents throw around. And I find that when you're speaking with buyers, I'd say probably about 30% of buyers throw the word at you straight away, because they've been either looking for property for a little while, they've had some good people in their corner in terms of another agent or a solicitor, and they know, oh, if I use this, it's going to put me in a good position. And then I'd say the other 70% of buyers, like most people, obviously you're not transacting every day, go, oh, what's that? I've heard that word before in my purchasing journey, but what does it mean? How can it help me?
And I was dealing with a super experienced buyer this morning at 6:45 who's bought and sold with us plenty of times, and we got intimate about using the 66W. We're going to explain what that is in a second, but we got intimate about using it, and I was surprised that I was still educating him on what it actually truly means. And this is a guy that's probably done 5 or 10 transactions in New South Wales. So this is a super important thing for everyone to understand. Once you know, it's not a moving target. It doesn't change, but legislatively, we're going to explain and talk you through it. Michael, from the top, we've got a cool off and we've got a no cool off. Can you tell us?
Correct. So in New South Wales, when you're buying a property, unless you're buying it at auction, in which case there is no cooling off period, when you're buying via private treaty, built mandatory into every single contract, there is a 5 business day cooling off period. So if you put down some money and you exchange on a property, you'll have 5 business days before that property goes what we call unconditional and you're formally locked into the sale. Now, the flip side is your solicitor will issue with you a 66W certificate, and that is them signing off and saying, I've explained to my client what they're going to be doing with this, and we're going to be signing away our rights to that cooling off period, and we're ready to go unconditional now. In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Can I add a little bit more to it?
Please do.
Can I add a little bit more to that?
Please do, Mark.
It's only one piece of paper. On the piece of paper, it says 66W certificate, and on that it says it's not even signed by the buyer or the seller. It's signed by the buyer's solicitor or conveyancer, and it says, I am a practitioner of law in New South Wales, blah, 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 blah. I have read the contract explain the capacity of the contract to my clients, and I've explained to my clients that they have no cooling off. That's all it is. But it's very, very used at a particular moment in time in a property purchase transaction. This piece of paper can make hundreds of thousands of dollars and could be the difference between getting a property and not getting a property. The 66W certificate.
Yes. The power of it is, like in any transaction, is giving certainty. So for the buyers that are out there, put yourself in a vendor's shoes. When someone is offering on a property and we have two offers that are very similar in terms of price, very state to state correct. So we're talking about New South Wales today, our bread and butter. And so for when you're putting forward an offer on a property, if there's two similar offers, and let's say they're the exact same number in terms of price, and one buyer goes, I need a cooling off period, I need time to do my due diligence, go through it, etc. And then buyer two goes, I'm ready to sign today, I've done my due diligence, I don't need a cooling off period, I can go unconditional today. There's a lot of strength in that from a vendor's perspective. You go, well, I'm going to take the guy that's ready to go. It takes the risk out for me. And that's the power in it, is taking away that uncertainty from a vendor, showing that you're ready to go. And if you can spice it up with obviously your best price and also with the terms there's a lot of strength in it.
I've recently witnessed a seller take $30,000 to $40,000 less than another offer because the buyer said, I am going to put a 66W with my signed contract and with my check. So that owners are, and that represented, a good couple of percent less than on the property. But again, the owner was chasing the certainty. So for some weird reason, you would think, common sense prevails, and you would think an owner would go, oh, you know what, I'll wait 5 days to get that extra $30,000 or extra $100,000. You would think an owner would wait. You'd think an owner would choose that over a 66 over a cooling off, a 66W over cooling off. Sorry, a cooling off over a 66W because they're only going to wait. But the problem often is that when you accept an offer, you will often burn the other offer maker, or 2 or 3 offer makers are there. So there's a bit of reluctance there from an owner sometimes to do the cooling off compared to the 66W no cooling off, because they've got one chance to get this accepted and transacted, because potentially once you go with someone, the other 2 buyers will say, I'm not interested in anymore, go away. So that certainty of a 66W is even more important, because they're thinking, man, I'm going to go out on a limb. If I'm going to go out on a limb, this is another way to look at it. If it's a $1 million transaction, and you got one person at $1.010 million and another person at $1 million, and you potentially lose both those people, it's $1 million transaction that's on the line. It's not the $10,000 difference that most people think it is. Why didn't they take the 10,000 more on a cooling off and wait 5 days? It's not that. It's the $1 million they're trying to bank, and that's the difference. So, in that heat of the moment, at that time, that 66W and the way it's used is super important.
Correct. And the truth of it is, every vendor is different as well. Some people value the certainty more. Some people will opt, I might wait for that 5 extra days for the additional funds as well. But the key to it is, and that's a great working example there, Mark, where a vendor did choose less money for the certainty.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you.
And it's not the first time we've seen it happen either. But I guess today what we want to try and give to you guys is some advice for buyers out there as well, is you want to put yourself in the best possible position with it. And if you can get yourself, and bear in mind, guys, we're not saying you need to sign away your rights and you've got to do it and then do your due diligence afterwards and put yourself in a risky position. What we're saying is, do your due diligence up front, key is speed with it, and put yourself in a position that you can exchange unconditionally. Because especially if you've got the strongest offer with an unconditional, with a 66W, then of course you're going to have the best possible chance of getting it accepted. So it's just one of those tools in your toolbox to give yourself the best possible chance in securing properties. And it's a big one. Before
we go, one more hack. I this 66W certificate is at the discretion. Even though the purchaser solicitor signs it, it's at the discretion of the purchaser. Now, why I'm saying that is I had the same conversation I was having this morning when I was talking to a buyer. He was like, so what do I lose if I don't go ahead? I said, well, if you have a 66W, you lose 10%. And I said, and he said, well, I don't have my finance approved. Now, if it's someone who's got 50% deposit and they don't have their finance approved, but they got a pre-approval, for example, people like that will sometimes, or say they're a cash buyer, people like that will often just take the risk on a 66W because they're thinking, you know what, what's the risk? I've done my building inspection. I'll just do it. Where it fell off the rail this morning when I was talking to a prospective purchaser is they were saying, I don't have my pre-approval for finance, but he's got a huge deposit. And I need to get that pre-approval before I get the 66W. And I read the 66W certificate out to him, and I said, if you don't have the finance, but you're certain you're going to get it, but you haven't got it 100%, you can still go ahead unconditional. So he thought that he's always been trained by his solicitor that you have to have your formal letter of approval with the bank in order to get the 66W. He just thought that was the process. But when I read the 66W out to him and it basically says it's that I'm a lawyer, it says that I have explained to my client the contract and I've explained to my client this cool off. There's nothing about finance. So I said, if you instruct your lawyer, mate, just get this done, this 66W done, they often will.
It's like anything in life. It's about your risk tolerance, and some people are a lot more risk tolerant than others. Some people go, no, I need to have absolutely everything lined up before I will sign any piece of paper, and that's fine. That's their prerogative to do so. Unfortunately, the risk on that is sometimes you will miss out on properties. Like you explained there, the risk on the other side is sometimes you can make the jump. You got a lot more chance of securing the property, but obviously you got to take that risk on your side that it's on you to make sure you get your finance sorted in time before settlement.
This is a very, very important weapon in real estate that you can use. Share it with your friends, share it with your family if they want to know 66Ws in and out and inside and out. It is really, really important. And deals are lost because people's lack of the 66W certificate in New South Wales, lack of the understanding of it, and lack of using it at the correct time. So I really, really urge anyone that if they want to know more about it, ask your solicitor, ask your real estate agent, watch this back again, because I think it's a terrific tool to use to get that property for you in a particularly sensitive time.
Correct. Brilliant. Also tell the vendor the story of why you're buying. Yeah. And that's another thing as well, slightly off topic with it, but a vendor, when they make a decision on when there's offers on the table, what price there is, what terms there are, and also sometimes the sentiment of the buyer. Some vendors go, I'd like to sell to this person for this reason, as well. So it's not just the dollars and cents is probably the main thing to make important to everyone out there. It's not always just the dollars. There's so much more when you're offering on a property that you can put in your arsenal.
We're selling 4 families, 2 families. Make no mistake, as technical as we make it, or as dollars and cents that we make it as an industry, that's what we do. So those emotions are still flying. That story still matters.
Correct. Brilliant.
Have a great day.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Mark.
Love you. See you. Bye.